conference right now from the free throw line. First one has gone to it twice.
George Thomas gets it low to Pearson. Back to Price, three-pointer, airborne, and he got it.
That it's tiring, you need to use your bench.
Price works through a double team all the way down the lane. Nice move by Mark Price. Double team on Bird, cross court to Price. Three for a second into the lane. Nice pass to Harvey, and Harvey again. The interesting thing about Harvey, he only averages 6 points a game. Here's Price, three-pointer, bingo, right off the bat. Ball comes outside, and Georgia Tech with a chance on the fast break. Bradford to Price, baseline jumper, it's good, and now the three-pointer may become much more important, and there is Price with one, and he drilled it.
In his huddle is anticipating. Here we get a great look at that three-point basket by Mark Price. That was not an accident, Mike. That was a design play.
And guard Mark Price, the third leading scorer in the conference. Price has a high game of 26 points this year as a freshman, but Tech's offense may need more than that this afternoon because 6'9" freshman forward John Sally is not with the club.
Duke lead at 13-7, and the hometown folks don't like it a bit. Price lets it go. He's unbelievable. 14, Georgia Tech in command. Inside move, and he gets a 13-point lead. Price moving. Woo! He had Emma all over him.
Holmes is very proud of this young man.
Moving again. How does he hit the shots? And they call it offensive foul. Anything except let that jumper go. There he is, free for a three-pointer. What a shooter. You can't let
at the right wing. Carolina now in the 1-3-1 zone. Price fires over the zone. Good. Stripped it from about 25 to 28 feet. Henry before the game. He had to play more players. His players were getting awfully tired. Price out of the right corner makes it 10-6. Bird holds on the right side. Down in the corner to Neal. Back to Bird. Cross court to Price from 30 feet. Bottom. Now hits Kenny Smith. Gets it right back. Knocked away Harvey. Picks up Price. Here comes Tech on the run. 6 turnovers. Away to Dalrymple. Layup good. 20 off of the circle. Away to Dalrymple. Jordan won't let him through. Back to Price from 30 feet. Count it. Mark Price. Price across the timeline on the left side. Works inside the hash mark. Bounce pass to a wide open Craig. Bob Jordan from behind. Rebounded by Michael. It's Petway moving down the right sideline. Bounces to Price. Jump shot. Doherty got a hand on it, but it still went in. Mark Price, man out. Sally in the midcourt area to Price. Price bounces it to Joseph for the to be his second. I had it down for only his first, but well, they're saying to Sally. Now to Price. Price streaking into the lane. Feeds Dalrymple. Got by. Laid it up. Good.
And for Georgia Tech at guard, a 6-foot junior from Enid, Oklahoma, number 25, Mark Price.
Both clubs, especially for Maryland, because they have 5 losses. This is Price.
there with the case. The foul line extended.
This is Price. Got by Gatlin this time. Look at this. Great steal by Sally to Price. What a play that was. Price pulls up. Yes, sir. You see that coming, couldn't you?
Game somewhat. There's Price. That is T-shirt.
Luck getting some shots. Dalrymple back to Price. He's open this time. Almost pulled it away. Watch out for Bias. Price has got the loose ball. Glenn Bias tried to do too much. Ahead to Sally.
Atkins has to fire at the Bias. Now watch who comes down to help out on Bias. Mark Price, here he is again.
End to end.
Boy, for young players watching this game tonight, here's Mark Price, normally a leading scorer type. He's not getting the shots tonight because of the
Down the ball against the man-to-man. Price down the lane. Pulls up with a little jumper. Mark Price has his first 4 points at 6-3. Price quickly back down court. Contact, no whistle.
You see Mark Price coming up the court at full steam. Amateur now, nobody puts the teams in man-to-man.
Sally to Price. Got it.
Oh, what a tough one from outside.
Sally to Price surrounded that way screen, and Mark Price has just been unbelievable today.
And 9. That's 6 straight points for Georgia Tech. They were down 14-3.
On offense against the North Carolina zone.
Dalrymple to Price. Joseph wants the ball inside. Price bombs away again and got it again. Mark got it low now. Double teamed by 2 Giants. Off to Price.
Look at this. Watch this floor vision. Didn't even look over that way. A great lead pass. Warren Martin gallantly goes up to
Team down by 6 with 13:48 to go. Price, nice fake, got away. Got it. What a tough. The chant is defense. The ball knocked away. Price down on the floor, ties up Wolf.
defensive gem. Petway playing a great defensive game. Knocks the ball away. Mark Price should have kept the ball.
Georgia Tech will have to shoot again. Price going down the lane all the way, and he's fouled.
A superior ball handler. This place will get quiet now.
I don't know if he's got butterflies, but I do. What a great finish to this ball. In a boat, and I believe that's a couple of ticks more than it ought to be. Price hits the free throw.
Everybody else thinks he's designing a play, but
Price hits them both. A three-point lead, 55-52. And Scott Petway comes over to hug him. I think it just struck him what they've been able to do. He lays it in at the buzzer, and Georgia Tech has knocked off North Carolina.
North Carolina had a chance to really put some heat on Georgia Tech.
That was a very difficult shot going away from...
Except Bias and the guards. John Sally playing way off Derek Lewis.
Price to Sally, got it back at the baseline. Georgia Tech, Baxter telegraphed the pass, intercepted, ahead to Price. Basket goes, and he's fouled.
Pressure in the backcourt. That's what they've been doing. Great steal by Dwayne Farrell. Good basket by Mark Price. Bias has been open. They haven't seen him.
23-10. Sally to Price around the screen. Buried it. Antoine Ford was the bad pass, but Price somehow came out with the ball. Great pass! The Terps have hit 6 in a row. Price, 37-23.
Another guy who's been in the doghouse is having a decent game.
Price had to drop it off to Sally, and he scores.
And I think that's confused Georgia Tech.
Price trying to go down the lane, double clutch. Going again, but Old Mo has been on Maryland's favor.
Here you go.
Well, what an answer.
What a momentum.
And brings it back down for Georgia Tech.
What a pass.
Sally missed a shot.
Out at the top, Mark Price is beating John Johnson. That's a great pass. Len Bias came to help, but it didn't do any good.
Contact with Farrell, and Dalrymple goes down to flips to Price. There it is. Collected, Tech comes back quickly with the ball. Price on the break, throws it up on the ground. And Georgia Tech leads by 1. Gets back up quickly and looks to guard somebody. Here's a jump shot by Price, and he rings the bell from downtown.
That play, Steve Hale set the back screen on Sally, gave the opportunity for the easy ball.
There's Price. He beat Kenny Smith 1-on-1.
They've done that, and they win as well.
Price trying to pick his club up, as he has done so many times in the past. As Lebo looks to get it in, and the ball knocked away by Price. He takes it to the basket. The shot will not count.
The continuation play. There's the great hustle and steal by both. There's the play. Great hustle by
A native whose outside shooting, court sense, and leadership are vital if Georgia Tech is to its...
Harold Jensen misses. Villanova's been cold. They've had some open shots. Price going the length of the court and will go to the line.
The matchup team-wise, particularly with a young team, as is the case with Villanova. Price shooting outside. They're going to have to rely.
For Georgia Tech, the question is, are we as good as the expert? Georgia Tech really looking more to the inside. Now to Sally, who had that first half early start. Tip saved the ball and kicked it into the hands of Georgia Tech. Mark Price hit to the side.
Anyway, this is his last shot. Shot by Marcus. Could have been a very bad mistake.
At 14, we have 5 seconds left in the quarter. Here comes Price. Price fires on the run for 3, and he hits it on 13-10 in the rebounding column. Price for 3. He got it. Back. Price's jump shot is good. The youngster
hitting that medium-range jump shot. That'll make him even more effective.
Price for 3, and that's his third of the game. McCormick, he had trouble hard down the lane. Price ditching off. And Julius Irving is not here tonight, but he will be featured at halftime. Price, and he has a career high.
Smart thing, just standing there facing up and shooting.
Another pair for Price by Perkins. Here come the Cavs, chance to run. Price hits another outside. Mark Price out of Georgia Tech. Price drafted by Dallas, but they had so many guards that Tampa gave up on him. That's from him, and the Cavaliers come up. There's a 3-on-2 break. Harper to Price. Dougherty with Barkley. And the stolen Harper flashes across, intercepts up ahead to Price. Baseline Harper.
Now you can't foul, and in a play like this, you got to...
And Price gets in.
Price, he's coming right down on the floor. He's going to shoot it. He wants the shot. That's great.
Mark Price will be, as we look at them from our court side, see Craig definitely struggling here, Steve. Well, speed and accuracy is important, and Price is doing just that. May taken away because he was on the line. So unofficially now, Price with 14, Hodges with 10. Aim game series.
What pressure on a player knowing you have to come out and score 40 for your team to win?
Mark Price. Harper in traffic. Open was Dance. Tremendous.
In the second half, we were able to come back and take the lead even.
Price hits just from inside. It's Doherty. Stopped him. They bodied him all the way. And Doherty on the pass from Price fills the lane beautifully. Mark Price penetrating. Off the glass, comes right back. Price. Drops for 4. Fouls and the group of 3 for Chicago. Price coming off the screen. Williams goes in and cuts the lead.
Notice the ritual. It's the lineup of the foot, the 3 bounces, the catch of the ball, and then the follow-through.
Partially blocked. Price comes away with it. That's a 3-pointer.
Involved in almost every one of those baskets. Excellent passes, rebounds.
Price from the corner. Humphries with 10 points. Price 4-3.
Down and dirty. He's looking for longevity now. You know, he's trying to stick around.
Mark Price looking for an opening for a drive. The reverse will go. Price on the penetration. Tough shot by Mark Price.
Cleveland Cavaliers. They double up on Price. Beautiful pass for first quarter. Price from 3-point range. Followed by Nance. Oh, what a pass from Price. Turned it over. Here comes Price from 3. Foul. 3-on-1. Doherty. And the Knicks get the call. Nance. Off the strong pass, but Price able to rattle down. Here's Price, beautiful feed from that bound. 3-on-1, Doherty. And half minute left, third quarter. Oh, Price. Move. What a move.
Rebound down, Ron Harper all over the place tonight. The team is certainly playing. Sidney Green very comfortable doing that.
Price from 3.
West is 29-point average, you kidding?
They didn't give you any assist on that, did they?
But that's not working. And Doherty should be there.
Price pulls up and finally gets one.
The trend of game 4, Cleveland getting just about all the loose balls. Ron Harper. First carry at Harper. Rebound Grant knocked away by Price. Williams corrected the score. It is 17-16, not 18-16 as we report. Price tries to tie it up and go. Excellent block that time by Elo. Price for 3. He's got it. Mark
Catch that they understand that they can get to the basket and they take a strong move to the basket. You see, he was going for the
Hammers with foul trouble. On the switch, 14 has Price. Fires the three and hits it. And it's a 1-point Cleveland lead. Price with a left-handed layup. Beautiful play.
Lenny was a little excited that time. Watch this move by Price. How's that for a beautiful left-handed chain? This is the playoffs, and here we have 2 great team players right here. Guys that lay it out.
Price, Elo, Bennett, Williams, and Tree Rollins, the 5 on the floor for Cleveland. Williams.
And that's improved their team with Lambier outside.
Good morning.
Every morning. 2 different players a week, he said.
And 2 more.
They're doing a great job on Price. Isaiah has worked hard.
Price. Oh. Here comes Price.
Look at Williams run.
To Williams. Price works around the Doherty screen, and the Cavs are on the score. Those 2 free throws. Price off the drive. Boy, he's working. Price launches the long.
Price is left open. You don't want to leave him open. 28-point lead on Atlanta in the second quarter. 3 try by Price. And the Cavaliers on the perimeter against King. Price off the glass. Price against Paxson. Doherty sets the pick and Price delivers. Collins handing to Price. Boy. Mark the delivery to Hot Rod Williams, knocked away by Armstrong. Price is open. Now Price takes his try at it. That's a 2 though.
Yeah, they'll get with the Bulls in that period of.
Yeah, he rang up over 350 wins here. There is Mark Price.
Sixers on the floor, but here a gutsy move by Price. 3 guys inside. Steve Hersey Hawkins dogging Steve Kerr. They feel Kerr's vulnerable in handling the ball.
Price gets 2 from the corner. Mark Price. And the Cavs can cut it to 2. Nice pick and roll. Doherty over Mahorn for 2.
Mark Price does a great job of drawing players towards him on the pick and roll. Brad Doherty wide open as we see Rick Mahorn hanging back. Opportunities, again, will kill you. Cleveland still can't keep Philly off the board.
Price, 6:45 to go, third quarter, 73-58. Runner at the other end.
And Mark Price.
5 minutes to go, quarter number 3. Price, Williams.
Now Mark Price will be taken to the locker room and examined.
Doctors told me I'd torn it and I was going to be out for the year.
As Price went through a long and trying rehab process, he watched the Cavs struggle to win only 33 games in his absence.
Price keeps fighting all the way, feeds it to Price for the goal. Bounce back out to Price, comes down the baseline under the basket, hooks it!
Mark Price, 2 of those. What a pass from Price to Doherty.
So against the Hawks, he had 7 rebounds.
Price pulls up, using the screen well. Anthony drops it off for Ewing. Meets Price in the lane, and he pokes the ball away. 3-on-1.
Defensive transition by Anthony. This team is too solid to try and back in as Ewing did. Price broke it up. Nice pick. Nice pass back from Price. Little pick and roll.
John Williams with great agility takes Ewing outside. Quick look by Price. Sanders. He really is sucking wind. Price around 3 Knicks. Was turned up a notch in the second quarter.
They always want the ball to go to Price's hands. He goes down the middle and takes Mark Jackson.
The Knicks are relying on what has saved so many a game, and that's their defense. But Mark Price beats them there.
About 28 years or so.
Price for 3.
Oh, the timing of it. Particularly recently, but now is when they really need him, and he's answering the call. Oh, 4 seconds.
Doherty, it's a big matchup right here. Price is open. Come the Cavaliers. Price leads the breakouts. Nance and Doherty on the right. Ready.
On Broadway.
Or even at 13. Price back quickly.
Bowie out there to harass the passer.
Price for 3.
Wow. Sam and Mookie on the money, and they got to help. Again.
The Nets are down 1. Price for 3. Looks good.
Not playing him.
Looks good.
Wow.
He sits up here and tried to deny the pass.
And Price puts it home. Doherty out the pick, rolls off. Price takes it for 3. Oh, that's a killer.
I'm sorry, defense.
Price D'Lo the backcourt.
They're trying to bring the big guy in low. Look at this guy. Advantages. There's Nance coming into your picture. Price. With Garcia on top of him.
Price for 3. Oh. Comes over to John Williams. Price to Nance.
They switched that back screen on the foul line this time.
And George has to go against Doherty, so Price takes it.
Well, if I had been in a similar situation, Boston by 7. Here is Price. Yes. Williams up front. Here's Price penetrating.
Are you passing medical judgment now?
No, I hedged it, as you know. So Price.
Stay with it until Boston does something to stop it.
Price. 2 of those games. Larry Bird missed 3. Here's Price.
To win a world championship.
championship than when you could have pinned
Price in the crowd, gets the shot away the game, and also 6 rebounds. Mark Price, the crowd thought he traveled. Price working on Bagley, he'll take it. It's a 2-point line, and they all gamble. Another tremendous herky-jerky style of John Bagley to both get the job done. And Price nailed the. Mark Price had the hot hand in the first half for Cleveland. He hasn't cooled to decide which way you're going to force him. Mark Price quickly answers.
Out there in the first half, I really felt that every time I let it go, it was going to go in. So sometimes
On 2, you just stopped and shot a 3. I mean, did you just feel it? Did you have it before the game, or when did it hit you?
Well, after I hit my first couple.
It's been Cleveland's approach in the Cavaliers' season of resurgence.
Looking to get a basket. Price sets for 3.
It's really something special for our team.
We'll see him at Richfield. Cavaliers looking to send the series back to Chicago. And Sanders on the front line. Here's Price. That was a 2-point game going to the fourth quarter. Price with the runner. Yes. 50 seconds remaining. Price for 3. Yes.
Especially when he's shooting it, it's listed as a sprained thumb, but he told me he has a torn ligament in it that he doesn't think it's...
For the Cavaliers, Price right back. Oh, high arcing shot. Price gets the step down the lane. Oh, what a feed to Ferry. Beautiful. Price off the screen by Doherty. Off the glass. Here's Price. Up on 1:30 to go. Third period. Price. Oh, what a move around that screen. Price for 3. Yes, sir. Cavaliers set up offensively. Price left unattended for 2. Price. Everybody stepped away. Over the rookie Corey Williams, and watch the expression. There it is. Price from deep for 3.
Get his legs in here to finish it up. Got plenty of time. That eliminates Craig Hodges. Boy, Price is feeling. Look at Mark Price. It's the third time's the charm. We saw him 2 other years. He couldn't get past the first round. What was the difference this time?
Defense, kick to an open teammate. Normally it's John Paxson. Now it's Mark Price.
Line for that MVP award. They wanted to get it. Mark Molly can do for you.
3-pointer for Price. And
Malone leading all scores now with 23, and Price wins.
Here's third.
Price is 5 for 7. And hits the 3.
Bounce play a double screen to free up Mark Price. He catches it, he squares up, bottom of the net.
Price. Can he tie it?
Yes!
Picked off by Sanders. Here's Price for Nance. Yes. Mark Price. Yes. They now lead by 9.
Mark Price with only 7 minutes of playing time in the first half, had no field goal attempts.
He missed several games, then came back, had some shooting problems. Price.
Mark Price is not a guy that usually has a whole lot to say, but he knows he's been struggling. He needs something to get himself going. Maybe it's just talking a little trash for Mark Price.
Sanders getting set to check in. Here's Price.
First one is bad enough. You're gone right then, in his opinion. But for hanging on the rim, no for an offensive player. Ankle bending Scottie Pippen to feel healthy, but if you read the Chicago papers, Bill Jackson said, week off is wages.
78. Chicago Bulls are waiting in the wings. Price. Time today.
It's not many times that Mark Price goes all the way to the basket for a score and a foul.
Doc Rivers had a lot of success against Mark Price last year.
Gerald Wilkins. Price tested by Rivers, but is able to get around him. Just got cracked in the air, and the Cavs take advantage. Price goes long range. Price with a fizzle and a foul.
Mark Price wanted to go around Williams, and he found a way to do it. Herb was with him. but then Price went into that extra kind of move.
Price the rebound, and Cleveland's running. Doherty. Berry kicks it for Price. Second three. Price draws it at 1.3 Knicks. Carrying the rebounded by Berry. Price pushes up the tempo. Goes for three. With their rebounding and defense, only 3 shots in the quarter. There's a great look by Price for Chris Mills. Price gets away from Anthony. Price trying to get away from Anthony. Challenges Ewing inside and finds Rob Williams.
He obviously is thinking down the road as Price gets around Greg. Price a very tough player for anyone to stretch.
Charles? Give us your thoughts on this.
They had a chance to finish him off and they didn't. Now Mark Price is alive and well.
Well, and he is the 1994 AT&T long distance shootout champion.
He's dominating defensively, hitting jumpers.
Mark Price with an acrobatic shot, and Price the key man. Jackson had a funny line about Horace Grant. We asked him about saying he wanted to play for Orlando next season. Price got the roll.
So quick, both of those guys,
Price off.
Price really forced into taking difficult shots like this. Finally, Horace Grant is up there. Longley has not been stepping up.
5:50 left, third quarter. There's a three. Mark Price.
Tired. When is he going to leave me alone?
Price just takes it on his own, and a blind pass to Mills.
Down the lane. Eventually gets by Longley. You got to move your body and feet rather than.
So whenever I've had an opportunity to help him with that, as far as doing a commercial, it's been home in your own bed, and you know, if people think, you know, how was Dallas? How was San Francisco?
He hadn't done anything on offense. He takes the ball to the basket, gets a shot for one of his other people, and watch Price. He finds it, and you can't give him this much room. Knocks it right down.
So the first half of regular season NBA action.
Price with a penetration. Perry.
They need this.
Gets the
with the outside shot. Charles Oakley played high school ball with John Jay in Cleveland. Beautiful move.
Suddenly brings this Cavalier crowd to life.
Couldn't do anything with it. Spencer, the pick and roll with Mark Price. And Maloney can hit that because he's a top three-point shooter all the time. As I mentioned before, 34% coming into the game against the Warriors a week ago. Now it's 42. Now as he comes around, just a little traffic.
Percent three-point man is at his 14th of the year. Here's your last shot of the first half. And Mark Price
Had a very easy first half for him. Mark Price finishes the half.
Warriors are taking the nets off. They have made 20 of 29 shots. So was a great inside scorer, but he wasn't the rebounder of Barkley's ilk. Oh, beautifully done. Look at that. Mullen and Price. Today they go to 11-1. And they're up a bucket. Under 2 minutes to play. Price for a tie.
Fifth pass inside and not a lot of room for DeClerc to catch.
Price. Three-pointer. Slows regulation. The starting five back in. Price, Sprewell, Mullen, Smith, and Spencer.
Bring over a guy. Surprised he didn't bring a big man.
Oh, long one by Price. What?
He would say no.
He's still working on the count. It's 4 balls and you walk.
Oh, career high. Right now, the Warriors don't care about that. Now, Price waited for the screen. Look what he got.
32.
There's Price. He lost Iverson and nailed the shot. Iverson and Mark Price has really gotten into it. After a basket a moment ago, Mark Price will lead the hand.
Ahead to Mark Price. He's got Wilkins on the left side. Goes back. Price baseline jumper. Bangs it home.
And Mark Price comes down the floor, gives it to Wilkins, back to Price, and a little J. And now
Mark Price picks up his shot. Most of the points are Gerald Wilkins for three. But the last couple games, John, he's averaging about 19.
Grant playing without the goggles now. It's Mark Price knee. Mark Price goes right high for the rebound, gives it back. Mark Price penetrates the runner off the glass. Price gets a high screen roll. Rodman over to help. And again, Price lowers that shoulder and puts it in.
High screen and roll, and they're going to try to work on Steve Kerr again.
Price, a tough three.
He just worked.